It was the night before Christmas, when all through the house, not a creature stirring, not even a mouse. The traps were all set by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas will soon step here. The children were nested along the snug in their beds, while nightmares of body parts danced in their heads, and Mamma with her hatchet, and I with my axe, had just settled down for a little nightcap. Went out on the lawn, rose much clatter. I sprang from my chair to see what made the splatter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, ripped through the sash. The moon on the breast of the blood-stained snow gave hideous glows to the objects below. Then what to my wondering eyes should appear, the watchman was dead with a knife in his ear. There was alone kneeled a man rather thick. The blood on his coat told me it was Saint Nick. More rapid than vultures sprang to his feet. The zombified Santa was hungry for meat. Where are the children? I want them now. Bring them down, you ugly fat cow. On the time I am impatient, I have come to your house. I hunger for brains, and I'm not alone. Dry leaves before that the wind hurricane fly. The legion of demons flew down from the sky, and the evil up to the top of this evil took roast, with red beady eyes with long pointy tooth. And then in a heartbeat I heard on the roof the digging and pawing of each demon hoof. As I drew my hand turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came down with a growl. He was dressed in all hair of the dead had skinned, and all the clothes were blood-stained from both men and women. With the bundle of cluttery hung on his back, he grabbed a knife to begin his attack. His eyes, they had stared through me. His smile is freaking scary. His nose was all wrinkled and old like a rotten cherry. His drooling little mouth has drawn up like a bow, and he slashed down my leg and I fell to the floor. My stump of my limp that held tight of his teeth, and the blood suspended from it with the tile beneath. He had a cruel face with some blood on his beard. His expression was empty, for my life now feared. He was ugly and evil, a sick little elf, and I knew the things must change for my kids and myself. With my leg now missing, my life surely dead, I pushed it from the floor and kicked Nick in the head. He spoke not a word, but fell straight from his back, and all the traps sprung into a thunderous snap. Laying there rivering right where he fell, this bastard passed right through the doorway of hell. The demons then vanished and my children were safe. I sat there crying, beginning to faint. But before I passed out, I screamed with all my might, "Scary Christmas to you all, and to all a good fright." And that, my little pretties, it was the Fright Before Christmas, a Christmas creepypasta. My final thoughts on the story? Pretty good pasta, actually. Although this is not really more of a story, this is more of a poem. And this is basically based on the "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" story, but it changed in a sort of manner. Now, what I mean by that is that the fact that it's a poem, basically somebody replaced the kid-friendly words, or, family-friendly words, but they replaced it with blood, gore, death. I mean, it didn't go from 1 to 100 on that. That's one thing I have to say. I remember Cheshire Hat narrated this story, I think sometime last year, I believe. I could be wrong, however. But I would have to say, I do remember Mr. Creepypasta narrated this one last year. I know it said he narrated this story like 11 months ago, but, this one was made, I think, in 2013 or 2014. I can't honestly remember. But I have to say, this story was definitely a story that I never really was expecting that to be the case. I mean, I gotten a little bit frightened by this story because of how well made it was written. I mean, no, the story was not terrible in any way, shape, or form. I still find this story to be, a pretty interesting concept for what this one is. So, in questions to what has been going on, this story, it's a good one. Although would expect a bit more from it, but I decide, you know what? I'll go ahead and, give this a shot because why not? It's a pretty good story. I mean, the grammar of this story was pretty good, as well as the sentence structuring, the storyline of how it all went out, and basically the flow of this story. It went out perfectly fine without any, much negatives, I have to say. I mean, I do wish that this was more of a story. I know this is kind of like a poem, so to speak, and I don't mind if creepypastas are in a poem, but I really have to say that it actually plays out very well in this concept. Maybe you guys might have your own opinions on that, and if you do, that's perfectly fine, because I respect your opinion regardless. I still find this story to be enjoyable, well made, and it was definitely a lot of fun to do to read. I'm not gonna deny that one bit. It was a lot of fun to narrate. I mean, the grammar was good. I did spot a few grammatical errors in the story, but it wasn't really a big deal, but it was still a pretty good story, but nevertheless, it's still a good story. I still find this one to be, quite amazing, well made in detail, especially with the whole concept of its own self. And yeah, sorry about that. Still have a bit of a cold going on, but I really have to say, I still find this story to be a well made creepypasta or poem in this case. I still find this one to be enjoyable. I mean, yes, I wish this was more of a story than a poetry pasta, but I didn't really think that this one was bad at all. It was a pretty good one. Like, it's basically the night before Christmas, but in a creepypasta style, so to speak. I mean, it's pretty messed up, to be honest. Like, oh my goodness. I mean, it's the concept of it was messed up. I'm not denying that one bit. It was messed up of its own self, but I still find it to be, rather enjoyable. Now, with that being the case, with that being said, I actually do find this story to be, good. I know I already said that before, but I honestly still find it to be a good story. Maybe not the best, well, maybe not the best poetry pasta I've seen, but I mean, I've seen other ones that were good too, but this one's actually one of them. Yes, I do wish that maybe there was a little more added to it, but other than that, it's a pretty good pasta. It's worth the read. So, I'm gonna sit here and say this is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that is fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. Before I give out my rating, I don't know who the original author of this creepypasta is, because still trying to I'm still trying to, find the author of the story. But since I don't know who the original author of this story is, I'm gonna basically just state this as anonymous for now. If I ever find out who the original author of the story is, I'll definitely give it a proper credit. I'll give it credit. So yeah, with that being the case and with that being said, I'm gonna sit here and state this now. My final rating of the story is a 10 out of 10. Really good, really well made, definitely worth to watch, and I personally find this one to be, quite enjoyable. It's a pretty good pasta, and I recommend you guys check this one out if you haven't. So, it's on the regular Creepypasta Wiki for any of you guys who want to know. So, I guess with that being the case and with that being said, what did you guys think about this creepypasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you all not? Also, what you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to leave me now what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you're brand new here to this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out.